Oh, it's cold. I'm late, you guys. I'm really late. Sorry. Oh, this is not in here. Good morning. Okay, I came outside to do the scope, but it's chilly today, and I don't like the cold. So, y'all pray for me. But the Mythbusters Mondays topics are usually pretty quick, unless I get a lot of questions, which I'm always open for questions. Good morning. It is cold. It's only like 45 degrees, which I guess in some areas of the country is not that cold, but it's cold to me. And apparently to you too. Whew. But I'm just gonna give people a second to hop in like I normally do, and then we're gonna start. Because I got this information about VA loans, which I do VA loans pretty often, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about eligibility. A little bit about eligibility. Well, it might just be me and you, Jay Little. It might just be us, but that's okay though. That's okay. And I don't have my selfie stick. But as the wind blows, my hands just get colder because I walked out of the sun. All right, we got some people hopping in. Good morning. I'm late. I know we had a training this morning about estates and wills that ran over, but it was a good training and the information was really valid, so I wanted to go ahead and stay in. I actually wish it was a little longer because that kind of stuff can be so complicated. So anyway, we're talking about VA loans today. I am Rashida Clark. I'm a realtor in Newport News. I work under the brokerage Liz Moore and Associates, and I'm outside the building right now. If you're watching the replay, you cannot comment, but you can still double tap the screen to give hearts if you like or understand it. Hi, King Eric. Hi, guys. Let's talk really quick about VA loans. In my area, I do a lot. I work with military a lot because it's such a heavily populated military area. We have a transient population because we have like the Air Force Base, Fort Eustis. We used to have Fort Monroe. And I'm missing a couple others, Oceana, a bunch of other ones across the water. So this information is good because most of the time I get active service members. However, you do not have to be an active service member in order to use your a VA loan. If you didn't know, and a lot of people apparently don't, because I just found this information out from another training that I did. So I'm always in training because you never can know enough. You just can't. So my eyes are watering, but I'm going to look at this. So if you serve during any wartime period, you are eligible. Most people probably don't realize that. They go all the way back to World War II, post-World War II, Korean War, post-Korean War, Vietnam, post-Vietnam. There's a 24-month rule, the Gulf War. Let me fit my paper here because my eyes are watering. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay, if you're on active duty, of course you qualify. You only have to be on active duty for 90 days in order to qualify. And if you're a National Guard or Reserve member since 1990, August the 2nd of 1990, you are eligible. You could also have been discharged from Select Reserve or the National Guard if you served 6 years and you're still eligible. So that's a lot of people. Oh, and wait a minute, let me not forget the spouses. So if you are a spouse of an unremarried spouse of a veteran, you also qualify. Or if you're the spouse of a service member that was a prisoner of war or went missing in action, you qualify. So that's a lot. That's a lot of people. And I don't think people are using the VA loan. The reason I'm talking about VA loan is because VA loan is the best. It's the bomb. It's the easiest way to buy. Exactly. They're lost. But you know what? Let me tell y'all a secret about qualifying. And that's why I want you guys to share. If you guys know anybody that's in the military that needs this information, please share this. Please share it on the timeline, because people don't know. The secret is VA actually does not have a minimum qualifying credit score. Secret. However, most banks do have an overlay, which they all do. They have an overlay, which the bank that I like, their credit score is a 580. BB&T, if I don't know if anybody on here is local, you guys can tell me where you're from, but BB&T actually does not have a qualifying credit score for VA loans. Every bank is different, you guys. So you may be going to a bank and they're telling you need a 620, a 660. You don't. Atlantic Bay 580. BB&T, they don't have a qualifying credit score. There's another bank around here that's a 600. Right, but that's based on your bank. Every bank has a different qualifying score. But the VA, so really quick, I talked about this I think last week. Every single bank is going to be different. So your bank requires you to have a 625, but every bank doesn't require that. The VA themselves, they don't have a qualifying credit score. But each bank can have their own overlay. So whatever bank you close with or that did your loan, they require you to have a 625. But every bank won't require that. So Atlantic Bay Mortgage, which is a national bank, they only require 580, which is pretty low. 580. BB&T, they only require 600. Actually, they don't have a qualifying score. And I think it's Wells Fargo that only requires a 600. So you guys, I mean that's almost everybody. Most people don't have great credit, but most people at least have a 580. Y'all got a 580. And if not, I can get you to a 580. That's easy. I can get you to a 580. You can buy a second home, yes, because your eligibility, the amount depends on the area that you live in. In our area, the max is 417,000, I think. It's based on like the average of the prices of homes in your area, blah, 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 the cost of living, all that kind of stuff. Last winter, Chesterfield, so yours is probably going to be a little higher. Well, you're out towards Richmond. Yours may be a little higher than ours is. Last December, I did a loan for a veteran. Actually, he's active duty, and he purchased his second home. So basically, they just subtract the amount of the eligibility that he used on his first home. So yes, you can buy a second home. I need to double check on whether that it can be an investment property or if you can live in it. So he bought a home with a VA loan, and then he got transferred out here to Virginia, and so he had to put his other home up for rent, and he bought another home out here to live in, a brand new home actually. So it was pretty nice. Yeah, so I mean, most of this stuff is on all of this, what I'm reading right here, I got this from the Department of Veterans Affairs. So it's right there. It's just that a lot of times people don't know, they're not aware. They just figure if they're not active duty, they can't use a VA loan. I really wish I knew what that said, if it's something good, but I'll go back and translate it later. I will go back and translate it later, because sorry, I don't know what that says. But again, you guys, if you're a veteran, even if you are National Guard or Reserve, you are possibly eligible to use a VA loan. All you have to do to get eligibility is go to the Department of Veterans Affairs. They have an area where you can apply to see if you're eligible. You can do that by phone, by mail. Your lender can do it for you. I'd suggest you try to do it yourself if you aren't sure. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. You can find out if you're eligible if you have questions about it. So please, you guys, go on. If you have ever served, and especially during wartime, but you're not active right now, you are still probably eligible. The other secret I'm going to share about VA loans, just because I like them, most of them are assumable, which means that someone else could qualify, not have to go through the whole home buying process. They could qualify and assume your loan at the interest rate that you have it. Those are probably going to come back and be really big as the interest rates start going up, which will probably start happening next year. They've already started inching up. Which it depends on. I will always suggest that whatever you want to do depends on your credit score, your credit profile. Every bank is going to be different when it comes to loans. So most banks can offer sort of a construction type of loan, but it depends on your credit score. If you got a good credit score, like say at least a 620 or 660, you probably can go anywhere. If your credit file isn't messy, and I don't mean that in a negative way, I'm just giving y'all the basics. If your credit file is fairly clean, then you can probably go anywhere. If your credit file has some past bumps and bruises, then you probably need to go to a lender that's a little more lenient, like Atlantic Bay. That's my favorite lender, so I always talk about Atlantic Bay. Atlantic Bay, I don't want to say BB&T, but Wells Fargo, they do the majority of loans, but they're not necessarily, they're going to be stricter on a lot of things. So I don't know where you're located, and if you're on Twitter, we can definitely talk a little bit more later. But depending on where you're located, it will also help too, because if you know agents in your area, you may want to ask them for recommendations about where you should go based on you're in Richmond. Let me think about it. Are you on Twitter? Because in Richmond, I think you guys have some of the same banks, but you got a few more options there. But it'll definitely make a difference. No? Okay. You're not on Twitter? Okay. Well, hold on. I'm going to put my card up, you guys. I always do this because when I'm outside, I don't have my little screensaver thingy. Hold on. So I've got to put my card up so that you guys can get my contact information, and my hands are frozen. Okay. Frozen. Hold on. Now the camera won't turn around. Okay, so this is me. You can take a screenshot, you guys, if you need to. So you can contact me, because I do have a couple contacts in Richmond, and some of the banks here can help you. It just depends on your score, like I said. So you guys take this down or take a screenshot, so that I'm sniffling now, so that you can get in contact with me if you need to, okay guys? If you're not on Twitter. The reason I asked if you're on Twitter, because I always try to follow up. There is an app that I use where I can follow up with people. If you have the same Twitter name, sorry, I'm trying to put my card back. If you have the same Twitter name as your Periscope name, then it will catch you, and I can follow up with you that way. So that's why I always ask if people are on Twitter. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I'm freezing. I'm going in to get another cup of coffee, even though I don't probably need it. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate the shares and the hearts. So hopefully I'll talk to some of you guys off Periscope.